Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm Yu-Gi-Oh! MG here, bringing you a deck profile of Bujins. This is for the October ban list, even though nothing in this deck is really relevant to that anyways. So, yeah, Bujins are still relevant, I think. Well, I know. Besides HAT, Bujins are pretty much the only decks that, going into this format are still doing something. Fire Fists are creeping up there thanks to Wolfbark coming back at 3. But, those are the only 3 decks really, Fire Fist, Bujin, and HAT, that are doing anything this format compared to how good they were last format. It's just the top 3 these days, so. But, still thought it was worth putting a deck profile out there, so let's get it started. Okay, so, of course, like every deck in the world that runs, well, every Bujin deck in the world run 3 Yamato. He's amazing. 1800 attack plus his effect at the end phase is, you get to search a Bujin card, add it to your, or a Bujin monster, add it to your hand, and then dump a card. So you can search a hare, dump a hare, search a turtle, dump that turtle. Or if you already have a hare in your hand, search a crane, dump a hare or turtle. So whatever you got, he sets up your plays. So, and then 2 Hirame. She's a must at 2. If you're not running 2, then you're doing something wrong, because you need to run 2. I would even run 3, but I think this build runs better with 2, but, running 3 isn't bad either. She special summons by banishing a Bujin from the graveyard, so she makes your Carnation plays live, and that's just incredible. Her second effect is never really used, but when she's destroyed, she makes both players randomly discard a card from their hands, so which isn't very good, considering you gotta compete with Burning Abyss and Shadal's, so they'll probably plus from that. So really, she's just best to just special summon and go into Xyz right away. 1 Mikazuchi. He's awesome because, well, when a Beast Warrior Bujin monster is destroyed by battle, or destroyed, period, you can special summon him on the field, and then if they attack you, you can, dump a crane, get over their monster, and then when a Bujin card is sent from your hand to the graveyard, that during the end phase of the turn that happens, you can search a spell or a trap card, Bujin card. So, yeah, pretty sweet effect. He works great with Yamato, but since he's not as good as he used to be, we run him at 1, and that's enough. You don't want to do more than 1. And we run the 1 Arasuda. Great synergy with Hirame. When you banish and special summon with Hirame, Arasuda special summons from your hand automatically because you banished a Bujin card. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. You can special summon both monsters that way, and then you still have your normal summon. So, yeah, good Beast Warrior plays there. I would go straight into Kagutsuchi from there if he wasn't already on the field. So yeah, that'd be a great way to do things. And then the Bujingis, we have 2 hair, prevents destruction for once per turn, prevents destruction. Period. So battle effects, whatever. 2 turtle, can be used more than once in a turn, just as many times as you have them in the grave. Prevents targeting, so negates a target and destroys the targeting effect, and yeah, he's a great card. Only for actually, he works for all the Bujin cards, so not just Beast Warriors. So that's cool. Hair only works for Beast Warriors. As does Crane here. Run 3 Crane. Yeah, 2 of them are super rare, 1's a rare. My bad. Sue me. Yeah, Crane's freaking nasty, man. I gotta say, pretty much everyone says he's the honest of the deck, but really he's not. He doubles the attack of the monster that you're protecting, your Beast Warrior Bujin monster. So Yamato will be a 3600 if you dump Crane, and Hirame's at 4,000, and yeah, I mean he's not the honest though, because he can't get over everything. Whereas this guy here, we run a Sinew. That's the other honest of the deck, because he literally has the same effect as honest. You banish him from the grave, and then whatever attack your opponent has is added onto your monster, and then they take half the damage. So, you know, he can get over literally everything. So Sinew's awesome. And there are times where, you know, say you have no cards in hand, you have Yamato on the field, you're going to need to search out a card at the end of your turn and then, you know, dump a card. Well, he's the prime one to go to if you can't search a crane, because you don't want to dump a crane, right? So, yeah, Sinew's a great one. And we run a Quillen, because, you know, popping a face-up card is awesome. And for the non-Bujin cards, we run one Max C and one Honest. I only want one Max C in this build because we side out the others. But he's great because there's so much special summoning going on. There has been for several formats now, but, you know, it's just more now than ever. Next, I think that's all the monsters. So that's 18 monsters altogether. Next for the spells, we've got 3 Carnation. If you're running less than 3, put in a third one, because it's amazing. This is the only card you want to see when you're top decking and you're behind. This is the only card, because it's a free special summon, and then a free Xyz on top of that. So you get a Bujin monster that's banished and a Bujin monster from your graveyard. Special summon them both, and then you can overlay for a winged beast, or beast warrior monster. So, amazing card. This thing should be a secret rare. It's so good. And then, of course, the 3 tankies. These things are nuts. You know, searches the beast warriors. You know, it's basically puts Yamato at 6, so it's awesome. MST for 3. You need 3 of them. If you're not running 3. Run 3, because it's such a mandatory card in the format, because back row is the main issue. I mean, monster effects are, you know, brutal these days too, but back row is really, oh man, with all the Phoenix Wind Blasts and all that crap going around, yeah, you need to get rid of back row. 2 Kaiser Coliseum, because it's still ridiculous against so many decks. Shaddols don't really suffer against this card. Burning Abyss aren't too hindered by it, but Satellanites, this thing shuts down Satellanites. I have yet to lose a Satellanite fight with this Bujin deck because of this freaking card. It's crazy how good this thing is. So yeah, the S-Knights, it just shuts down their whole plays, man. It's crazy. And then if you have enough protection in the grave, their back row won't be enough. So yeah, it's just awesome. We have 1 Lance, we side out the other 2, because sometimes we do need to put in 3, but we only have room for 1 in the main deck right now. And then a Book of Moon. A great card against the majority of decks in the meta these days, but Shaddolls not so much. So, you know, against Shaddolls it's a side out target, but it's a great card against every other deck. So, I mean, hey. And that is it for the spells. It's 13 spells. Onto the traps we run. Let's see here. Okay. We run 3 Fiendish Chain and 1 Divine Wrath for the effect negations. Honestly, they work together in such a great way. Like, Fiendish Chain is just, it prevents attacks and effects, so it's just a great card that way. But then Divine Wrath is basically a breakthrough skill that destroys the target. And in this deck, discarding a card is not such a big deal, because you'll probably have a hare or a turtle or a sinew or a quillen in your hand at some point. And that's why we only run this at 1. Either way, still, discarding 1 card is fine, because it can be used as a Carnation target later on. So it's, you know, such a great card. Negates the effects of a monster and destroys it. 2 Mirror Force. Yeah, I know a lot of people are running Deep Prison, and I do have Deep Prison in the side deck, but I like to wait till I see what my opponent is playing before I choose to side out, you know, the Mirror Force or side in the Deep Prison, because, you know, I use Deep Prison against Winda and hands, but against everything else, I like Mirror Force because it clears the field. So I'd rather have no monsters on the field than 1 less monster on the field, you know. So it's just my opinion, though. 1 warning, 1 Compulse, and 1 Black Horn of Heaven. Just standard staples. These two are the, probably the 2 best traps in the game right now. This is an amazing card because there's so many decks that use Xyz monsters and synchros and all that crap. So that's it for the traps. 9 traps. Onto the extra deck. So we run 2 Susanoo. You don't need 3. He's amazing. You really ever need 2, but I've never needed 3 before. So I mean, if you want to put in 3 and you have the room, you give her. But I don't have the room. So yeah, that's Susanoo. I might put in 3. I might cut Tsukiyomi. I run a Tsukiyomi in this build as well, and he's not as good. And we run a Kagutsuchi. 1's good enough. Any more than 1, and I don't know. You're not going to go into him much because he needs 2 Beast Warriors, and you only run, 6 in this deck? No, 7. But yeah, that's not very many. So yeah, amazing. If you have both these guys on the field, it's good game because there's just no way. Susanoo searches Crane. If you have a turtle in the grave, you can't be targeted. And then Kagutsuchi prevents destruction because of his materials. So yeah, he's he's amazing. 1 Tsukiyomi. I've gone into him a few times, and it's beneficial every time I have. But I don't know. I would rather go into the other guys first. This guy's defense is good, but his attack is only 18k, so it's like 2 level 4 monsters, and you get the equivalent of a Yamato. So he's okay. But if you have really shitty hand, then do it. Otherwise, just go for the other guys. 1 Black Ship of Corn, because burn damage and hands. Paladynamo for those pesky effect monsters that are too big to get around. Heartland Draco for game. This thing's nuts with Kaiser Coliseum. You get an easy 4,000 damage to your opponent, which most of the time is game, so this thing's crazy. Diamond Dire, pretty amazing card in this deck because you go into this guy, target one of your Beast Warriors, say Yamato or whatever, then hair the effect. Don't turtle it because it'll negate the effect of this guy, but yeah, hair his effect. And so, your Beast Warrior survives, but whatever you targeted on your opponent's side is popped, so it's great. It's good that way. Roach. This thing wasn't too great last format, but this format, holy crap. Like, I've gone into this thing a lot, and he stops Shaddolls, and, Shaddolls are like the main card right now, or the main deck right now, so, I mean, he's just an awesome freaking card. He stops dragons, he stops a lot of Lightsworn builds, he's really good. So yeah, every rank 4 available deck should run this guy, I think. 1 Maestroke. Easily the worst rank 4, generic rank 4 in this build. So if I was to cut any one of them, it would probably be him. I mean, I still like him. He still has a purpose, but I've only gone into him once, and I've been playing this deck for a year and a half now. So, I mean, he's not too great. I would probably take him out for a Rhapsody and Berserk, because Rhapsody is just amazing. Plus, you can attach Rhapsody to to Heartland Draco, and you have that little combo where if this thing has a spell card on the field, it can't be targeted by an attack. So yeah, you got Rhapsody on the field, you banish targets in your opponent's grave, and then you attach them to Heartland Draco, and then just sit there and let your opponent cry and take damage. It's awesome. And then the best rank 4s in the game, in my opinion, we got a 101, Castel, Exciton Knight, Cowboy, and the 5th one would be Dweller, Abyss Dweller, but I don't have one, so yeah. These are the best rank 4s in my opinion. Same with Dweller, he's up there too, and he's probably the 5th best, but yeah, I mean, these guys you'll be going into them the most, besides the Bujin Xyz monsters. So, yeah, I mean, game, Rage Quitter, get rid of problems, get rid of bigger problems, yeah. That kind of stuff. So that is the build. That is my Bujin deck. let me know what you think. Comment, subscribe, and good luck.